In this video, I'm going to be ranking the top 9 recovery methods used for people who are trying to get in shape. Watch this video and you're sure to find out the best and worst methods in order to recover from your workouts and be able to work out effectively over and over again to get yourself the best results. Everybody knows that training hard is important, but if you can't recover well from your training, you're not going to be able to train well consistently. So this video should clear up the confusion that you may have about what the best method is, and that way you don't waste your time and money. The first one I'm going to rate here is one that a lot of people will talk about, and that's going to be either ice baths or showers or any form of cold exposure for the most part. I think that in all reality, this is either going to be C or D tier for me. I'm going to have to put it in C. I do see the benefit of it. However, I think it's more of a mental recovery method than it is anything else. My reason for this is people claim it to help with inflammation, which is true. It might reduce inflammation, but this does not mean that that's actually a good thing. Inflammation is our body's way of promoting blood flow to tissue that needs to recover. And so if we're trying to recover, why are we stopping inflammation from occurring? It is a natural part of the recovery process. Because of that, I'm going to have to put it C tier. The reason it's not D tier is because of the fact that I think there's other things on here that are just worse or more expensive options for what they do. Cold exposure is very affordable for the most part, as you can just take a cold shower or a cold bath. And so as much as it isn't something that's going to be super beneficial and could be detrimental, I do see the mental benefits, and on top of that, it's not that expensive, so you're not wasting your money for the most part. Next up here is going to be foam rolling. Foam rolling has been in the limelight for years now. It's been a thing for a long time, and a lot of people use it as a preemptive or post measure when it comes to recovery. They'll usually use it for a warm-up, or sometimes they'll use it after their workouts in order to try and roll out the muscle and help. In all reality, though, it isn't really something that's that beneficial. It could be good for the use of a warm-up, but I would much rather just do a dynamic stretching routine, and then post-workout, something like a static stretching routine would likely be more beneficial than foam rolling. You don't have to buy a product, and on top of that, there isn't a lot of research to support the fact that it's any better than stretching. Just as a quick intermission here, I'm a fitness coach, and I can help you to reach your fitness-based goals. If you've struggled in the past with consistency, or you don't know what type of program would be best for you, let me help you. Go to the description and fill out my sign-up form in my website, and you'll be able to have a one-on-one consultation with me for free to figure out if my coaching is right for you. If that sounds like something that you'd be interested in, again, go to the description, click on the link to my website, and click sign up. But now, back to the video. One extra note with foam rolling is people talk about it stretching the fascia and that being an important part, which is the outer layer of the muscle. It's kind of the surrounding tissue around it. And there isn't much research to support the fact that it actually is going to help with the fascia or stretching that. So again, it's just kind of something that got really popular, but the more research that we have into it, the more we realize that it's more placebo than anything else. Now, if you like foam rolling and it works for you, I'm not saying you don't have to do it or that you shouldn't do it. It's not directly hurting you, but it also isn't necessarily helping you. For that reason, I might honestly switch these around because cold exposure can actually hurt your recovery, whereas foam rolling isn't directly hurting it. So for that reason, I'm going to switch them. Next up here is going to be cupping. Cupping is going to get C tier, and I might actually bump up foam rolling to B tier because of this one reason. Cupping is, unless you do it at home, expensive. You have to go somewhere, you have to pay for it, you have to sit there for an hour or 30 minutes or whatever and get the procedure done. All you're doing is you're promoting blood flow to these areas where the cups are and bringing it to the surface. Some people say that if you have issues with blood pooling, this can be helpful, where the blood is stagnant in an area, especially areas where you're not predominantly moving them as much. But at the same time, you know another way that you could do to help this? Stretching. So for that reason, foam rolling is actually going to be better because it is a form of stretching, it's a form of movement. But the reason that this is lower than foam rolling is because it's expensive. It's essentially a placebo or a method of stretching that is expensive. You have to go somewhere and get it done. Next up here is going to be cryotherapy. I'm going to have to put this in D tier again for the exact same reasons. It's going to reduce inflammation, which actually isn't beneficial to the recovery process. If you are understanding of the RICE protocol, which is rest, ice, compress, and elevate, the person who invented that actually recanted their statement saying it was beneficial and said that ice actually isn't beneficial. So if you are trying to recover, stop using ice. Heat is going to be better. Ice can help blunt the pain that you have in the area, but it is reducing inflammation, which again, we want in the process of recovery. So this one's going to have to go in D tier with cold exposure, with the cold plunges or cold showers, because of the fact that it isn't necessarily beneficial, but on top of that, it's expensive. Next up here is going to be a massage gun or a percussive therapy gun. This is going to go in C tier, and my reasoning for that is it essentially is doing, again, what the foam roller does or the massage roller, but the massage gun is more expensive. And so while it may be a little bit more convenient because of the fact that you just have to hold it on the area that you're trying to target, it's essentially doing what any other foam rolling or cupping does, which is promoting blood flow to an area, but it's doing it with an expense tied to it comparative to something like foam rolling or stretching, which is much more cheap. Again, I don't think it's not helpful. I think it is more helpful than these ones in D tier, but in terms of just a lone cost standpoint, it's more expensive than stretching would be, which is free. And so I would much rather somebody do that than spending money on a foam roller or a massage gun or cupping, whereas it's going to give you nearly the same benefit. Next up here is going to be sleep, and this is going to go in S tier. I think that sleep is the most important thing for recovery. If you are not sleeping well, you are messing with your hormones, you're messing with your body's ability to understand hunger signaling, you're messing with your body's ability to recover in terms of muscle, and then you're also messing with your performance because lack of sleep is going to reduce your performance. So not only are you recovering worse, you're actually going to make your performance the next workout worse. Another thing with sleep is if you're getting 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep, you're going to blow past people who aren't sleeping well because of how important it is. So if you're trying to progress fast, you need to dial in your sleep. I've covered sleep by itself before, and so if you look at my video covering sleep, you can get a little bit more information on that, but if you have any questions about it, drop it in the comments. Next up here is going to be any form of active recovery, so generally things like walking or running, swimming, biking, jogging, anything where you're moving your body and you're promoting blood flow. The reason that this is going to be over the B, C, and D tier is because it's doing the same things that the B and C tier would, which is going to be promoting blood flow to tissue, but at the same time, it's free. Anybody can go out onto the street and walk, whereas with the massage gun, you have to buy it. With the cupping, you have to buy it. With the foam roller, you have to buy it. So it's free. Anybody can do it. It's doing the exact same things that the others do and debatably better because you're going to promote more blood flow with less effort comparative to these other methods where they might not be as effective for that. For the last two here, nutrition is going to go into A tier with active recovery. I think that nutrition is very important. Not only the macronutrients, which are going to be your proteins, carbs, and fats, but also the micronutrients. Those are going to be important as well. So eating predominantly whole foods is going to be helpful to get your micronutrients, as higher processed foods or things like that, supplements generally aren't going to have the micronutrients that you need. Some people like to use the phrase, the macronutrients are how you look, the micronutrients are how you feel. I don't fully stand with that statement, but it is a good general blanket statement to kind of cover how they work. And I think that micronutrients are important. So eating your fruits, eating your vegetables, your leafy greens, eating the colors of the rainbow when it comes to those choices are going to be helpful to get all of your micronutrients, which is going to help how you feel, which is going to help how you recover. And then lastly here is going to be some form of stretching routine. I've talked about this before on my social media platforms, and so if you don't follow me on those, make sure you follow me on my other platforms. But I stretch every single day, and I have for the past 3 years. I think that stretching is incredibly beneficial. Now, I'm not trying to get all woo-woo about this and say oh, it's the best thing for you. I definitely prefer and think that training is better overall for your health. However, stretching is very beneficial. My reasoning for this is when I wake up in the morning and I go to the gym because I work out in the mornings, I don't have to do as much stretching before the gym because I stretched the night before. My body is, for the most part, not stiff because of the fact that I'm doing stretching every single day. Now, does this mean that I stretch for an hour every single day? No, sometimes it's 3 minutes before I go to bed, but I make sure I stretch every single day. This is going to help me in the same way that active recovery would, which is going to be to promote blood flow, and on top of that, it's something where it helps me wind down before bed, which again is going to work in tandem with my S tier one, which is sleep, helping me to sleep better. So I think that stretching is very valuable and is something that more people need to focus on because they usually think, oh, I'm just going to do a little warm up before the gym, bro, and then static stretching after, that doesn't matter. While I agree that if you're not trying to get super flexible, it doesn't matter that much, but if you're trying to stay uninjured, which is important because if you're injured, you're not progressing, I think that stretching needs to be something that more people focus on. Now, do you need to do this every single day like I do? No. Should you dedicate maybe 1 day a week to focus on stretching a little bit? I would recommend it. Again, this is my personal opinion on this, but there is science to back the fact that it is going to promote blood flow. It is going to help you with recovery. It is going to help you with sleep. And so I think that that is going to be an A tier method in order to recover. This is going to be my list. If you disagree with anything or the placements that I put these things, let me know by dropping a comment, either saying that you think this was a good list or you think that something should be in a different spot. I'm open to having conversation about it. So drop a comment letting me know. If you agree with this list and you want more like it, drop a like letting me know that you liked it, and also subscribe so you don't miss more videos like these.